What's going on, everybody? Tyson from VS Card Hub, and we are continuing on with our Christmas cheer today. We've got the Mosaic holiday boxes. So I've been trying to find these for a while. A lot of the stores around me have not had them in stock, and it's been a super pain in the rear just getting these at cost, because you know, if you go and you try and buy them off of the secondary market, people are charging like $30 a pop for these things per pack, which is ridiculous and dumb. And, you know, like I say in a lot of other videos, don't do that. So these have been out for a little bit. They are 10 cards per pack, or I guess 10 cards per box, I should say. There is one pack inside. Picked these up. They were at Walmart. They had finally done a restock at one of the Walmarts near me, and they had I think about 3 or 4 display sleeves of these in. So grabbed a big pile of them, figured finally want to rip them. I do like Mosaic. Mosaic is a fun set each year. It's a fun early season chromium set. In these, you are going to find one red and white striped rookie in each one of these. Obviously, we're looking for the cookies parallel. And these do have, I'm going to pop open the plastic on this one. They have most of the hits that you would find in Mosaic. I say most because in looking at the checklist, unless it's just not annotated or I missed it somewhere, we can get pretty much everything that we've seen in past Mosaic sets. So we've got our Epic Performers, our Notoriety, Bang, Touchdown Masters, Elevate Scripts. All this stuff was just, it's standard Mosaic stuff. It's been in the past sets. We can get Kaleidoscopic, Stained Glass, and Micro Mosaic. And then the Visionary here. So these are our case hits or SPs, you know, whatever you want to call them. The one thing that I did not see on here that I don't think you can get in here is the Genesis parallel. So that is one thing. They're probably saving that for retail, which is coming shortly. I think it's actually retail's been live on a couple sites. I should have some on the way from Walmart shortly, I believe it is, because they did pop up on either Walmart or Target. I can't remember. They popped up very momentarily there and on Amazon and then disappeared. So people have got them in hands already. I'll have them shortly, hopefully. The other thing, if you are into them, each box has a little punch out ornament. So 6 different players you can collect for your ornaments. Got them on the front: Travis Hunter, Jamar Chase, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Mahomes, and Dak Prescott. So I'm going to go ahead and get these opened up and get the packs pulled out, and that way we can just get to ripping here. Jumping in real quick before we go too far, if you are looking for anything as far as gifts, single cards, slabs, anything like that for the holidays, make sure you check out the link down below for my eBay store. We've just stocked it with a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we're adding probably 100 to 200 cards a week. Make sure you check out the bargain bin store category. Everything in the bargain bin store category is $5 and below, and we just went live with the sale that is going to be running through Thanksgiving and Black Friday into the holiday season. Volume pricing is active. Everything in the bargain bin is volume priced. You buy 2 or more items, 15% off. 3 or more items, 20% off. 4 or more items, get 25% off your order. And 5 or more items, there is a coupon that's live on the store. 5 or more items from the bargain bin, you will get 30% off everything you buy from the bargain bin category. Make sure you check it out. Appreciate you. Let's get back to the video. All right, here we are. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, yep, got them all. 12 packs. One of these days, I will remember to, you know, pre-cut the cellophane on these things. That way I don't have to sit here for 5 minutes sitting there opening them up. But let's dive into them and take a look at what we got. Like I said, 10 cards per pack. We are looking for some case hits, would be super nice, or some of the short prints. These do not open as easily as like hanger boxes. There we go. Plastic's a little sticky. There we go. All right. Swear I've done this before. So this is our standard Mosaic design. It looks pretty similar to what we've gotten in the past. Actually looks pretty close to what we had last year. All right, so we do have our base cards on the front. Yeah, pretty similar to what we had for last year's designs. There's a Riley Leonard rookie. And our first parallel there, red and white, Armand Membu. Not a bad one there. And Jonathan Taylor, dude's absolutely killing it. Had to go against him in fantasy this weekend and completely wrecked me. Brazil Games, Jordan Love. So there we go. Standard Mosaic fare. Yeah, you will get just your one parallel per pack. So it's one of those ones where you're kind of hoping to get either a really good rookie or one of the actual good short print case hits. Because other than that, you're pretty much just getting a bunch of base cards and you're getting, you know, maybe one or two inserts or parallels. There's Mumpfield. There's Jalen Noel. He's actually been looking pretty good for the Texans. Matthew Golden on the notoriety. Zach Baum. That dude's like public enemy number one after he hurt Cam Scadaboo. Kind of a terrible terrible football day with Cam going down. Dude actually made, even if you weren't a fan of the Giants, he made the Giants fun to watch. Kind of sucks to see him go out. Matthew Golden rookie. There's Walter Nolan on red and white. Former's Trey McBride. There's Colston Loveland. So this year, the rookies, they do have variations. So the Circle V on the base cards, they do have variations for the rookies. So you can get your standard rookie card or you can get the image variations. We've seen it before in Prism, but usually they were actually on the Prism parallels. So this year, kind of cool, Mosaic, they put the variations on the base cards. So it's kind of a little something extra. You know, the variations usually commanded a little less than the actual like standard rookie cards or the Prism rookie cards. So kind of cool to have variations for the rookies on their base cards. There's Josh Simmons on the red and white. Jaden Daniels. And base. So you are going to get a lot of base out of here. That's the big thing. Like I said, you're kind of hoping with these packs that you hit a good rookie, you hit one of the cookie parallels, or you're hitting one of the case hits. That's kind of what you're hunting here. You're looking for a good card to, basically pay for that 11, 12 bucks. Harold Fannin Jr., that's a good one to get. This dude's been doing awesome down in Cleveland, even for, how bad. There's Judkins on the variety or variation. For how bad Cleveland's looking, Fannin is actually looking really good. Like he's looking really good. And if they end up moving on from Njoku at some point, Fannin's going to step right into tight end one conversation. So we do have a silver prism here in addition to our red and white. There's Arian Smith. Waiting for that guy to get a good chance to really show out. There's DeAndre Swift on the silver. And Cam Miller, backup QB for the Raiders. CJ Stroud with the big old head on the touchdown masters. And Brian Robinson still in his Washington uniform. Yep. So this must have been printed before he got traded, because usually it will have something on here that says, traded to somebody on such and such a date. We saw it last year on the Mosaic cards or a lot of the Prism and stuff. They actually printed it on the side that said, traded to the 49ers or whoever on such and such a date. That is not here. So either they left it off this year or these were produced quite a while back. So could be, Panini is really gearing up and just printing the heck out of all the cards just because of all the delays and everything that they're having this year. There's Devin Neal, potentially could get a good chance now that Kendry Miller has been hurt. Isaac Tislaw. Travis Hunter on the Elevate. There's a Tet McMillan variation. So nothing too crazy so far. Obviously, you're going to want to find something. Jackson Dart is probably one of the biggest rookies right now. just because his market is crazy, because between him and Cam Scattaboo, they have just completely reinvigorated the Giants. Savion Williams is actually getting, when he gets a chance, he actually looks pretty good. There's Matthew Golden on the variation. Yeah, Savion Williams he's showing flashes. I think if he gets a bigger chance to really play, yeah, the Packers could be amazing, because the Packers have, like 20 different receivers that could all step in at some point and be really good. And we got a silver mosaic of Bernie Kosar, a little throwback there. And a little Taj Brooks. Go. All right, well, we got 3 packs left. 3 packs left. It goes pretty quick. You know, obviously when you're only pulling 10 cards per pack, it goes fairly quickly, because basically at this point you're opening a hobby or a big retail box worth of cards. Pat Bryant. There's Amon Membu again. So now we have 2 of his cards. Drake May. This dude's looking amazing this year. Patriots are 6-2 now, and May is just balling out of his mind. Patriots are rolling, other than the fact that they're not using Travion Henderson for anything. Travion Henderson, high draft pick, basically an afterthought. All right, we are getting down to the end. Williams, there's Dante Thornton. Definitely thought he was going to do more. Maybe he does. We still got some time in the season. Pat Bryant. He shows up here and there. Pat Bryant's one I picked up in my Dynasty Fantasy League, and finally ended up dropping him because there was all that hype at the beginning of the season that he was going to be, the next Michael Thomas and this and that. And basically he just disappeared. Like, the Broncos have barely used him. He's gotten, I think, 1 touchdown this year. So, all right. Tyler Booker, Damian Martinez, another one that was hyped big before the season and just really hasn't done much of anything. There's Buka, another Drake May. Get your coach cards. There's a little Bill Cowher. Wow. A little throwback there. Tyreek still there in one piece, and Fairbairn. So there you have it. 12 boxes? Yeah, 12 boxes. Again, you're looking for top rookies, and you're looking for, the short prints, the cookies. Didn't get any of that today, unfortunately. I was kind of hoping for that, but, we'll take what we got. Not a bad pull. Honestly, if you're looking for Mosaic, wait for retail. The retail, the blasters are coming out, I think, about $30 to $35. So basically about the cost of 3 of these, you're going to get a few more cards in the blasters, and you're probably going to get more parallels. Plus, like I said, these ones do not have the Genesis in them. So that's going to be a big thing for blasters, megas, your hobby boxes and everything. Those will have the Genesis. These do not. So you open 3 boxes of these, about the same as what you'd pay for 1 blaster. All you're getting is 3 parallels, and that's pretty much it. So they're cool because they are, different, red and white. It's the only place you're probably going to be able to get them is from these holiday boxes. But value-wise, yeah, unless you pull a short print or one of the cookies or something like that, or one of the top rookies, yeah, you're going to be struggling on value there. Anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments. Have you opened any of these? Are you going to try and open any of these? I probably won't, just because I do have Mosaic on the way. Probably not going to touch Hobby or anything, because Hobby and first off the line, all that stuff is just ridiculous right now. Absolute, I think, sold out at like $1,100 or something on Panini's website. Forget that. I'll stick to retail. Anyways, thank you for hanging out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time.